Welcome back to Whitt Acres. Today we're going to be planting onions down in the vegetable garden. We have a beautiful day today and it's only supposed to warm up from here. Yesterday I was able to get some hyacinths and tulips planted here around the entryway, but today we're going to be working on some vegetables. My dad just happened to pick up a bunch of spring color that needed planted right away, so I had to do that yesterday. He's up there pressure washing the lawnmower right now, so he's making a lot of noise. But I picked up some flower and vegetable garden soil here so I can top off my raised beds. The compost that we put in here from my compost up at the homestead wasn't quite broken down enough for what I want to sow plants into. I only grabbed this stuff because it was the cheapest bag deal I could find at Lowe's, but it's going to give me a nice top dressing and a nice media to sow and plant into on the raised bed. I'm going to do this bed here for my greens. I'm going to skip the J bed for now because it does have the garlic and the onions still in it, but then I'll also top off the two straight beds going down the fence line. It's still early, so I don't have the birds out yet. The ducks are still napping. But we're getting some pretty good spring weather now, so there's some seeds that I can sow outside and they're going to be able to germinate as long as we have about 40 degrees. So that's going to be good for a lot of the greens that I want to start and any of the root vegetables. And today I do want to get my onions in the ground, but I wanted to mention, if you're not a gardener and you're just learning gardening from my channel, this isn't the most ideal time to plant your onions. You actually want to have them already in the ground by this time. For best results with onions, most of them you want to get planted in the ground when we're still having frosty nights so they don't pop up right away and they can get a good root set before they start putting out greens above the soil. I didn't get mine in time, so I'm going to plant mine now and see what happens. I'm also going to weed out this bed and try and get some leafy greens sown in, and then I want to get all my seed starts moved out of the house and into the greenhouse. Coming, Pop? Echo Pup's working with a limp right now because you cut your paw hunting up at the barn the other day, huh buddy? Yeah. So in here I picked up some white Ebenezer onions and sweet golden cipollini onions. They were on sale at Tractor Supply because I'm already past the time that you're normally supposed to plant these. And my dad also got these hummingbird nests that we're going to try and put up in the trees this year. And I'm not ready for the potatoes yet. Hop up. And it looks like some of the tulips are starting to wilt around the waterfalls here. That is expected whenever you disturb the roots of a flowering plant though. I'm gonna get all the soil spread out over the beds and then we can work on the plantings that we're gonna do today. And I think Echo Pup's gonna work on making sure the pumpkin patch doesn't have any moles or voles in it. I had to get the greenhouse open because I was looking for my gloves. Let that air out for a little bit. We do have a beautiful blue jacket hyacinth on the right and some daffodils on the left and some lilies and irises coming up on the side. I think in maybe like 3 more years the whole place will be looking nice. What are you doing down here, chicken? You better not have walked in my open gate. You stay out there, chickens. Don't mess with my tulips anymore. Come on, Pop, you gotta come inside. Can't have you locked out. Alright, we got the leafy greens bed taken care of and it didn't take both bags. I have a little bit left over in one bag, so I'm going to put it over here in the asparagus bed. We have some type of ground cover weed coming up through all the asparagus here. It's taken over most of the bed so far. But if you look closely, we have purple night asparagus popping up all through this bed already. And there should be some Mary Washington asparagus in here too, but I'm going to try and clean out this little area here and put the soil in there because I want to try and grow some peas up this trellis this year. So I'll do this bed next and then we'll move on to the straight bed. This bed's looking a lot better. I'll be able to sow and grow some seeds up the trellis here. This post here is a little loose though. You can see how the corner kind of broke loose. I'm gonna have to figure out a way to secure that again. But we're gonna push on and get the next 2 straight beds topped off. There's a hawk flying above. Echo told him don't land here. Good boy, puppy. I didn't see him. I don't have the birds out yet, but there are some that jump the fence. How bud? Good boy, good boy. Make your presence known. Good. All right, be honest. If you were a plant, you'd want to lay some roots down here too. These straight beds are looking very inviting for some new plantings. So I don't want just one full bed of onions, so I am going to spread them out through the beds. And like I said, I'm also going to be putting some leafy greens in this bed, some peas in that bed. And then for the 2 straight beds, I'll probably be putting in more summer crops. But onions don't take up much space, so I'll be able to interplant them with many different crops. I'm going to get this cleaned up and then we can start planting. All right, it's almost time to let the birds out, so I'm gonna try and get these planted before I do that. For the greens bed here, I'm gonna plant the onions straight down the center. I'm gonna use the white ones in this bed, the white Ebenezer. On the back here, you can see the instructions. We do have a full sun bed here. I'm in zone 6A, so we're good there. We're gonna harvest these late summer to early fall, but probably even later than that since I'm getting them in late. We're gonna push them into the soil about 2 inches deep and cover them up. We wanna water them in right after we do that. And they should grow about 1 foot tall if we keep them about 3 inches on center. And there's 80 sets in here. I'm not gonna get real fancy with it. I'm just gonna eyeball the spacing and put a big swath here in the middle. And I'm so happy that it's finally crock season. I should have my dibber. Yeah, we're getting some company out here. So we're getting some big birds flying around here. Not really sure what's out there that they want. My birds are all put away right now. But they are well aware of what's out there. Well, I'm glad I held off on letting the birds out. Oh, we got a 4th and 5th one flying in now. Echo is aware. He spotted them. Oh, Pop. There's a lot going on. That'll do. This is my dibber. It's just an old broom handle that I burned the end off of, and I just poke holes in the soil with it. All right, I poked 80 holes in there. It got kind of crooked going down the center, but that's not going to be a problem. I think there was 80 onion sets, but some of them were dried up, so I just plugged them all in. They're about 2 inches down, so we're just going to water them in like this, and then I'm going to cover them up. I used my dibber hole to save my finger so I could poke 2-inch deep holes all the way through here. This is just a broken broom handle that I burned the end off of. This is good for poking holes for the onion sets, but it's also a good size for 72 cell plug trays. So I used this and I saved my finger and I got all the holes poked in here. That was all the white onions. Now I'm going to put all the gold onions over in the straight beds. Echo Pup had enough of those vultures in his field, so he went out and moved them. Now he's marking his spot. Oh, and I just noticed there's only 60 sets here in the gold onions, but I'm gonna pop them in all the same. It's gonna be easier over here. I probably don't even need the dibber because this is all 12 inches of compost, and then we just topped it off with this nice soil, so it's gonna be really soft. Whenever I built that first bed, I actually ordered a load of sifted topsoil to fill it up, which was really just a bad idea because it got hard in the raised bed. So for the rest of the beds, I filled them up with straight compost. They do break down a lot quicker, so you gotta load them back up, but you can't beat the soil quality. Don't mess with my flowers, Snowball. Move on. What's going on, Pop? You scare off those turkey vultures? Good boy. Oh, now you're gonna weed the cut flower garden. You are always working, Pop. We have about 140 onions in the ground right now. Now we just have to water them and backfill. And hopefully they grow something. Up, Pop. Well, it feels good to get these 2 beds ready for planting, but it really feels good to get something actually planted in them. Huh, Pop? Hopefully we get something out of these onions. I do have some in the J bed here that I didn't harvest last year. There's some garlic there in the middle that's split and is coming back up. And then we have some onions too. And I pulled this one up earlier, so now it's kind of dry, but we're getting some type of little salad onions or breakfast onions we can still use. These are actually pretty good for breakfast. Whenever you clean them up, they're chilled and you dip them in salt. So I'm just letting these grow until I need the bed, and then I'll pick them when I want them. All right, Pop. I do want to grab some pea seeds to plant along the one trellis down here. All right, I grabbed some frosty peas. Huh, Pop? I'm gonna grab some more water here first. You too, bud? Good boy. All right, these are only gonna go about a 1/2 inch deep. I'm just gonna put a bunch in. Might as well get some on this trellis too. Well, at least that's something down here. We have onions in the ground, we have peas sown, and we have asparagus popping up. So I actually kind of have 3 garden goals this year. I really want a good potato harvest. I want to grow a lot of summer squash so I can feed the animals up at the barn, and I really want to grow a giant pumpkin this year. Everything else out here would just be a bonus. Now I do want to bring my trays out of the house and put them in the greenhouse, but I think it's too sunny for them right now. They're going to need tempered off, so I'm just going to bring them around this side of the house into the shade for now. So I'm going to put them in the shade for now, and then I'm going to move them into the greenhouse for the night, but then I'm going to have to get them out in the morning again so they don't catch the afternoon sun. I want to keep them on the north side of the house so they get the afternoon shade, and they're going to have to temper like that for a little bit until they get used to the hot sun. I got to get some fences up. These chickens are everywhere. How you doing, pup? You enjoying the afternoon shade too? Huh, buddy? Oh, puppy, it's nice and cool over here, huh, bud? Yeah. And he's got a nice view of the side garden here. It would look better with an evergreen backdrop, but I'm working on it. There's stooges growing back there. I actually might have to do some mowing this afternoon to make sure the mower's working. My dad's doing some servicing on it right now, so I might have to mow the front yards. And yeah, they could use it. Huh, Pop? Oh, you lost your ball. Yeah, it's under your nose. Hey, ladies, what are you doing out here? I'd like you to go back to the barn. Right, no, don't do that. Oh, you're just gonna run under for cover. All right, you do you, chickens. I'm not gonna chase you. Oh, the geyser. So right here I have my starts right now underneath the lights. They're not doing too bad, but they would be doing better if they were outside. We have a few coming up in those as well, so I really want to get these outside so they're going to be easier to take care of, and we won't have to run the electric for the lights. Inside the root cellar here, we're not doing very good on any of these trays. All the brassicas got burned up because they're actually too close to the light for a day. And then most of the zinnias and the marigolds dried up too. I really don't have a lot of access to this area, so I want to get everything moved outside into the greenhouse where it'll be a lot easier to take care of. All right, I got the trays pulled out of the house and set in the shade over here. And like I said, I'm gonna be moving all the trays into the greenhouse, so any new seeds that we're gonna be starting from here on out are gonna be in the greenhouse to start. But we got the raised beds ready for planting, and we did get some vegetables into the ground, so we're making progress here on the gardens. If you wanna keep following along with everything here at Whitt Acres, make sure to subscribe down below, hit that like button before you leave, and you can see me and Echo on the next one. Thanks for watching. Good boy.